Hello, I'm Llewellyn King, the host of MECFS Alert, which I founded with my friend Deborah Woroff, who also hosts from time to time. I'm joined today at the National Press Club by Dr. Andreas Kogelnik, a leader in the search for a cure, for therapies, and for hope for those who suffer from myalgic encephalomyelitis, also known as chronic fatigue syndrome. Andy, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks.
There seems to be a quickening of the pace, a sense that things are moving even though no cure is in sight. Would that be fair?
I think definitely there's been a lot of activity this year, and hopefully we'll see even more with the upcoming IOM meetings and other activities outside the federal sphere.
The IOM is the Institute of Medicine, but that's not research, that's classification, that's about how you diagnose the disease rather than what you do about the disease.
That's right.
What's happening in the laboratory? Is anything good coming out of the labs?
Well, I think we've seen a few studies that are getting started on molecular level, and we've just are just launching a vitamin B12 and MTHFR, which is a gene coding for a specific pathway that might be deficient in some of these patients. And there's a number of other studies going on that I think are pretty promising.
What sort of clearinghouse is there for patients? I get emails, other people who are known to be active in this arena are contacted by sick people who can't find a doctor. I have one very sad lady who wrote me from West Virginia, another from Rhode Island. I can't find a doctor who knows anything about my condition.
Yeah, I think that's a real challenge because there aren't any standards across doctors, and you know, we've talked previously and with others as well around physicians' understanding in general of this disorder. So finding a good physician is definitely a challenge. We're going to be trying to address some of that in terms of providing a resource where patients can go, as well as just to register themselves online, and hopefully there'll be some resources there to help them find physicians as well.
Now, your own organization is the Open Medicine Institute, but there's also the Open Medicine Foundation, and you're related. Explain that.
Yeah, so the foundation is run by patients. Linda Tannenbaum is is the executive director of the foundation and one of the chief advocates on the patient front. And the foundation is largely engaged around fundraising for research and awareness. And the institute is really dealing with the scientific side and implementing some of the things that the foundation and others have approached us with. The institute is a bit more broad, that we're looking at not just neuroimmune disease, but which is certainly one of our focuses, but we're looking at and working with lots of other disease organizations around some of the same issues in chronic fatigue.
How many ME patients are you treating?
Well, I just had another physician, Dr. David Kaufman, join me in practice, which has been a tremendous help, and I think between the two of us, gosh, I haven't counted recently, but certainly well over 1,000 in our roster.
You have said that one of the difficulties of the disease is that in the normal practice of medicine, doctors don't spend enough time with patients, and a patient with multiple symptoms cannot explain it all in 18 minutes, which you said is the average visit. My doctors don't know that. They think 10 is adequate. How do you deal with that? How should doctors deal with somebody who comes to see them who has many things to tell them, and they're relevant things?
Well, I think that's one of the challenges in medicine today, is that we've fractionated care. We've broken it down into these little sound bites, and we rely a lot on specialists to deal with one system or another, which is a problem for MECFS patients because we have so many systems that are involved in these patients. And to go see the gastroenterologist might do one thing around their GI issues, but then the neurologist is trying to deal with some of the sleep issues, and there's no coordinated effort around their clinical care. And that's a real challenge.
In science and engineering, it's generally referred to as a multidisciplinary approach, where if you need a metals expert, you might also need a fluid dynamicist, etc., and a ceramicist thrown in. You know,
and maybe we need them to come into the same room together on occasion.
Well, they come in the same room. It tends to be that nobody has seen their cardiologist and gastroenterologist in the same room ever unless it's at a party.
Right.
Can we solve that? Is it worth solving? Is it worth an effort?
Well, I think chronic fatigue and a lot of these chronic illnesses, need physicians who understand things better, and Ryan Pryor's effort is certainly starting to drive at that for the
He is
longer
the
term.
young man from Georgia who is going to embed or set up a foundation to raise money to embed first and second year medical students with experts like yourself.
Exactly.
And
So
sounds like a very commendable approach.
So training physicians to be aware of these diseases and how to diagnose and hopefully treat some of these diseases is critically important across all specialties. And hopefully that can lead to ultimately to more unified processes on the clinical side. But in the meantime, we're sort of left with a cadre of clinics nationwide who manage the disease in their own way and as best they can.
What sort of reception do you get from the teaching hospitals? Do they contact you? Do they ask you? Are you called upon to lecture?
Yeah, I certainly give a fair amount of talks, but we certainly reach out to a lot of the different academic sites, and there's some that are more interested than others. Hopefully more and more of them will get involved in MECFS in the future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kogelnik.
Thanks, Appreciate it.